That's why you have us.
This ain't my first rodeo.
We are Journals Out Loud. I'm your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker. We're here with a panel of wise and wonderful young people. You're going to love them.
I've been out there wandering.
We're discussing issues and things and stuff and other things and other stuff. And if you give us a call, we'll talk about you. I'm here with Ryan.
Talk about you?
Oh, yes.
Not to you. Or with you, but about you.
About. Josh.
A boot.
KatieMichal, Jabbar, Tara. And in the studio, we have like a cast of alumni is actually here. We have Montana, all you Montana fans, you can give a call. Rhodey's here, Jake's here. Aaron, of course, is directing. In the booth, we've got Matt, Thomas, and Drew. Drew has his own YouTube channel. What's it called, Drew? Oh, he's putting his mic on because he's technical.
My YouTube channel is called Please Remain Seated with Chris Nevergall. We talk about theme park rides. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Isn't that a great title? Please remain seated. I watch it. I watch it, and I'm standing the whole time. I'm like, yeah. Ha!
So aggressive.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So, but there's a lot to talk about in the news this week.
Yeah.
So things have
good
been happening. So I thought we would sort of open this up to discussion and hear what you people have to say. So Charlottesville happened. And I don't think I have to bring anybody up to speed about what all went on, but it did go on, and there was a lot that happened that was extremely upsetting and very terrifying for a small town that's basically a liberal college town. And a bunch of people came to town that were going to sort of make a stir, and they basically came in to tip over some tables, and they did a lot more than that. And so there was a lot of pushback, and then that's when things go horribly wrong. And I don't know if the police could have been better prepared, or if it was one of those things that they just had to roll with it and see what happened. I mean, I guess they're still dissecting it and sort of absorbing it to try to figure out, well, what happened and how did this happen here? But I was listening to the mayor talk, and he was saying, we kind of are a flashpoint because we're a southern town, and yet we're really progressive about taking down statues that a lot of people find offensive and just moving forward and progressing with the rest of humanity. And there's still a pocket of people in the United States that don't want that to happen, and they feel personally threatened by any sort of social progress or civil rights. And everything went on, and then it resulted in the death of 3 people, 2 people in a helicopter and 1 young lady crossing the street. So I wanted to hear what you guys had to say about it, and I wanted to throw some questions your way, and maybe we can have an interesting discussion. What do you think? I mean, everyone says, because most of the people that we know are people who love people. So most of the people that we know are just like, oh, that's horrible. But what can we all do to become part of the solution? And maybe it's not enough to just look at it and say, oh my goodness. Maybe we have to say more, do more. What can we do to become a part of the solution?
It's a very difficult question.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I think that everyone can do a little bit in their daily life to just continue and try their best to make sure that people around them are doing what they're supposed to be doing. All you can do is police the people to your left and your right. As far as if it was so easy as to say, what can we do to solve it? I think then we wouldn't have these types of problems, right? So it's very difficult. I don't have the answer, but I think just making sure that the people who respect you take advantage of the fact that people respect you, whether it's your friends or your family, and make sure that you tell them what you think.
I think you can be like the best that you can be, and hopefully that spreads to other people. If you're kind to other people, they'll be kind to you, kind of thing. But also, we do have the social media aspect of our lives, and the more we support those people that are trying to be brought down, and the more we can make other people try to understand, then maybe, people could be brought around to the good side.
I think sometimes it feels like people of color are upset with the way white people react when things like this happen. For example, I was on Twitter the night that it happened, and the hashtag "This is not us" or something to that effect was trending. And I went to see what people were typing, and it was mostly people of color just being outraged that white people, like maybe even Lady Gaga, were posting that hashtag because their point was, this is us. This is a racist country. We have racist roots, and we've never pulled them up. So they're there. They're underlying. They built this country. It was built on the backs of slavery, and you've never pulled up those roots. You've never dealt with it. You've never shown them to the light of day and said, heal this. And so that's why white people don't get to use that hashtag. And I was just kind of like, reading the outrage and wanting to understand, like, that every white person that used that hashtag had good intentions. So please tell us, please teach us, what do we need to do?
See, but I feel like as black people, as a black man, there's nothing that you guys can do. I mean, we live in a country that is full of bigotry, full of racism. It's just like all cops are not bad, but are the good cops standing up for what's right?
So were they saying, don't use this hashtag because it's not true? Don't pretend everything's fine. Is that what they were saying?
It was never fine. It was never fine. Like you said, it's just being brought up to surface. The word Nazi all of a sudden brought out outrage in people, and we're like, but didn't a couple years ago, we were just being shot, and it was Blue Lives Matter because Black Lives, we were separating ourselves from everyone else. But now that innocent people, non-people of color, are being targeted and attacked, now all of a sudden everyone wants to protest and do this and do that, but we've been doing that, and now it's like, damn, once again, black people were right, and you guys are now just catching up.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels.
So it's just this delayed reaction, or something like that creates a flashpoint, whereas you felt like everything should have ignited a fire, like every little thing. Mm-hmm. Why aren't people paying attention?
Mm-hmm. And to Lady Gaga also tweeted, to black people, the black community, what can we do as, white people who is not racist, who are, loves everyone. And, I saw a lot of people commented, a lot of hate from that. But I also, it comes from a great heart. I know she does come from a great heart. But, I feel you guys can only do so much. You have the power. If you're fighting as white people, if you're fighting your own people, the people who are racist, you have the power. As black people, we don't. People of color, we don't have that power that you guys have. If you fight against one another, maybe it'd be more of a solution rather than, you can't look at us for a solution. We want equality, but
okay,
that's not there.
So you're saying it's up to good white people to take on bad white people. It's up to us. Okay, I got that. Mm-hmm. I got that. And I feel like that's starting to happen.
Absolutely. I slowly, very slowly, but surely, that more people are standing up for what's right, what's wrong, what's right is right. Yeah.
I do think if we just because what I hate I hate when people say your people. It's so true. We're not from the same race. Me and Jabbar, obviously, I'm white. He's black,
really?
Right? Yeah, I know. It's fucking,
Wow.
It's crazy. But I feel if we just stop saying your people, if we get that mentality out of we are people. We as a whole are people. That. I mean, I know that's just a long shot. I really do get that, but I feel if we just, I wish we could all be born colorblind. Honestly, I wish we were all blind. We couldn't even see.
Well, I mean, I think our cultural differences make us interesting. We share.
I'm not saying we shouldn't be our different cultures, but it's just your people, my people. Why can't we all be people together?
Well, I mean, if you study history at all, you see that there's, no matter where you look on planet Earth or in what year, there's some sort of caste system, or there's some sort of hierarchy or class, and humans seem to want to kind of shuffle people and put themselves at the top, so they have people to look down on, and that seems to be sort of ingrained in human nature, the tendency to do that. And so I think that our responsibility as humans on Earth during this lifespan is to push past all of those instincts, all that history, and say we can do better. That's just silly to assume that this person is a different class and therefore he doesn't have these opportunities, or I don't care what he thinks, or he needs to be shuffled over here, or...
And the sad part about that is, with social media and racist people of today, we're teaching our kids that. We're teaching our kids that your color is better than that color just because of the color of your skin, because of the house you live in. You live in a better house than them. You have better food on the table than them. So you also think, damn, is racism ever going to go away? And then you think about kids. You have kids who, you saw that, I don't know if you guys saw a picture of a little child, in a KKK uniform up to the police.
I shared it.
And I'm just like, racism is taught.
It's crazy.
That is taught in a household.
It's the craziest picture. It's this little
Yeah.
kid this poor little kid wearing this hood, and he's touching the plexiglass of the shield of a black officer, and the black officer is just looking down at him. I have no idea what he was thinking in that moment.
An innocent kid.
So
he doesn't
sad.
know a damn thing
he
that's
doesn't
going
understand
on.
what's
Yeah.
not at all.
No, he just thought that the cop was cool and that the
But you're so right. Before the show, you talked about Germany and the Nazis, and I went to Germany, and it felt like the moment we got into the country, it felt like every single person, everything they did, they were also saying, "I'm so sorry that happened." Like, they did not shy away from it, and it's so like the mentality there they had. You know, Hitler was a huge thing, and Germany was hated for years. Every single day after that, they have really, truly, like, they understand what happened, and they don't say it didn't happen, or they don't, like, hide it under the rug. They know it happened, they bring it to light, and then with everything they do, I swear in the back of their eyes, I saw every person being like, I'm sorry that happened. And I'm not even, you know what I mean? I'm this little white girl, like, just in Germany, but seriously, they work so hard to make that place not about the bad, but like, yes, this happened, but now look what we're doing. And I think it's so true that America does not have that mentality. We don't have any real memorials or days, or I mean, we have Martin Luther King Day, but that's about him. You know what I mean? It's not about the whole thing as a whole.
We haven't shined a light onto our dark past.
No.
And that, you know, that's how you heal. Is like in Germany shows by example, like they owe their current prosperity to their willingness to own and atone, and they've done it.
Like, they're so nice.
They've invited Holocaust survivors back to the reopening of synagogues, and they have memorials, and they in every way have shined a light on their past so that they can heal from it. And we haven't maybe dug up all those roots.
And then also when we, you know, just like Black History Month, I see a lot of tweets and just a lot of hatred. Why do we still have a month just full of black people when, you know, you have a lot of white people? Why don't we have White History Month? That would be an uproar. It's just America is not progressive at all compared to a lot of country. We have lots of power, but we're not as progressive and digging up our roots and stuff.
Can I say that I was listening to a YouTube video that was playing on my phone while I was driving earlier today, and it was talking about how Charlottesville, and it really went into all about slavery, and they made a really great point, and like you guys are saying that we're not progressive, we don't know. When I was taught what it's about, I didn't look into it more. I didn't, because it was just, I was like that's terrible to do. I don't want to think about it. I don't see anything like that. So I didn't really research what it was truly about. And now when I think back to it, after I listened to this video, I was in South Carolina when they were teaching me about it. They rarely touched on it. Like, it was just like, oh, this happened. Harriet Tubman did the Underground Tunnel, like Martin Luther King, it. Like, that's it. But it dates back hundreds of years. And like the stuff when they're saying that it only affected the South, my mentality, it was only in the South, but it was up in the North too. Like, I just think that America, we all need to learn about it so then maybe we can say like, oh, we effed up, like, I'm sorry, maybe that can help us, because like I didn't know how bad it was until I watched that video, and I'm like, I feel bad because like I didn't, you know, teach myself it. But like, how is the Civil War and our history of slavery taught in a Southern school?
It was taught around
terrible.
It was taught around Abe Lincoln, not like, it's like, Abe, look what Abe Lincoln did. Look what Abe Lincoln did. Look what this white guy did. Look what this white guy is doing. He you know, fought for the slave, like, but they didn't actually touch on the actual slaves and what was happening to them, and you know what I mean, like stuff like that. But did you guys see that movie Hidden Figures?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So where was that in the history book? Because I did not know that was a real thing until the movie came out.
To that, I had a problem with Hidden Figure as well. Not to get off a topic, because the white man in the bathroom thing that solved everything from like putting black people in the same, you know, bathrooms as us. That didn't happen. That was untrue. That was false. That was just for the movie.
But I'm saying that there were these 3 black women in that day and age that was doing stuff
Put a
that
man on the moon.
normal women even wouldn't do. Not the fact that they were, but like just women in general, and then the fact that they were black.
You didn't
Nobody
learn that,
nobody taught me about that. I was so heartbroken when at the end of the movie when they showed the pictures, and I leaned over to my dad. I was like, "Wait, this is a real thing?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm 21 years old, and I just learned about
You
that.
should have
That's
known
something.
it was real before you went to the movie.
But nobody taught me that in
Wow.
school. That's what I'm saying. That wasn't a thing that was taught in school, and that's what she's saying, that we're not being taught about the real thing. We're like hitting very, the tops.
I mean,
of
there's
it.
billions of untold heroic stories for sure, but maybe especially people of color.
Well, the history books need to be written.
Well,
Whoever's writing them out
I
there,
was
I'm
just-
talking to you.
I was just gonna quickly add on to that. Wheezy, the idea that we have to shine a light on the problems and what you were saying about having gone to Germany and seen them acknowledge their past. I think you can't shine a light on something that hasn't run its course yet or finished yet. Run its course makes it sound like it has to keep going, but we're still living in that. Like it's happening, so it's hard to reflect and say like we acknowledge it because we're still doing it. And people who are doing things obviously aren't going to acknowledge. If they thought it was wrong, they wouldn't do it. So, we have to get to a point where we've moved on from it before we can even look back on it and acknowledge it and recover from it.
You could make the point that the scale of the horror in the Holocaust was way beyond undeniable. And so nothing of that measure has happened here. It's just an insidious, constant class system that we have around race in the United States. As much as we say we're a melting pot, I think if you're a person of color, everywhere you walk and everywhere you go, you're aware that someone may be looking at you in some type of way.
Right, but you can't
that we as white people never have experienced.
Right, but we can't, as a country, say like, let's reflect on all the problems with the way this country was built that are still inherent in today's society until they end. Because if you're just
But
it
not
slavery,
as
slavery
bad
has
as it
ended.
was.
We can start with slavery.
we can start with that for sure. But I mean, I don't think.
Like
I don't think
they grew up in Southern schools and they weren't taught, hey, we live in the South and this was wrong. You can't own people.
I mean, did you grow up thinking you could own people? I mean,
It's a good question.
because otherwise you were taught that. I'm just saying that like if we want like to have the idea that like because you were saying it extends way further than that, and yes, obviously like slavery is a very obvious symptom of the racist roots of our country. Like that much is clear. But if you look at what's like the fact that you walk around as a second-class citizen today, depending on what you look like you can't reflect on that if it's still happening. Like the first step is to stop it from happening.
Right. So after the slaves are freed, the next thing that happens is white people look at each other and say, oh, okay, well, let's make sure that they can't go anywhere or do anything. And that's pretty much what's happened for the next 150 years. So it's like it's an ongoing struggle, and I think that it could be exposed better. I know we're still living in that struggle, and it's still ongoing, but I think that in schools, it could still be addressed without... It's almost like people or grown-ups or teachers will say, like, oh, look at that kid over there. He has brown hair, but they won't say the black kid because they're afraid of seeming racist. So it's like we're almost ignoring that there's race. Like really enlightened people are ignoring that there's race and not even, like, describing someone's skin tone. We're this weird mix of like being enlightened and being like completely shuttered. Yeah, we're in the middle of it, and we have to figure our way out because it's a big country and it affects a lot of people. And when something like this happens, we don't even know what's the right thing to say.
But quick question on that though. They were saying this is one of the first of many more protests. So we're gonna get tons more white supremacists. That's the right word, right? Yeah. I'm bad with words sometimes.
No, they're planning more rallies. They feel emboldened.
Yeah, and I honestly I'm very terrified of that for everyone in that sense.
Understandably, but this is also like not the first time that there's been controversial rallies and protests that end with people getting hurt. And generally, as they go along, the cities that know they're going to be happening prepare better for them. This is the first time that this one had in this series of what seemingly is to come. This was the first one, so it's hard to prepare for it. That's that's the issue. But as it continues, not that that's okay, and not that I'm saying that's good, but cities can at least
preparation will
to
be
some
different.
degree.
Sort of like
Exactly.
in 9/11, people didn't know like, oh, we're gonna die anyway, so let's wrestle this guy to the ground. He may kill us. But now, if anybody tries to storm a cockpit, they'll be like,
we know
at
what's
least
happening.
15 guys on the plane, like you two, would be like, let's just go for it.
You know exactly what's going to
Yeah, and so I think they're going to be
transpire.
prepared for this. I don't think there's that many people that are interested in sort of like, hey, did you get the memo? We're all meeting in Boston. Like, there's not that many people that have this much hate in their hearts compared to the amount of loving people that there are in this country.
I mean, people are still gonna get hurt. You know, that
Yeah.
happens at any mass gathering of people. You know, regardless of what the concept is that's driving that. But as far as something like a car getting driven into a crowd, like that kind of stuff can be stopped when you can prepare for it, when you know what's coming.
I think
So-
let's just spread love. If we spread love,
We're
maybe
spreading-
it just spread.
We're spreading all
like
kinds of love.
butter on warm toast.
But I want to talk about an interesting aspect of this, which is that perhaps in having a president who appears to be a white supremacist, all of these alt-right or white supremacists or Nazis, whatever they like to call themselves today, they sort of marched around without any hoods or without any disguises, and everyone there had a camera. And so their images are very clear, and they've been posted all over social media, and there seems to be a backlash that they're experiencing. Can you roll the videotape, Drew? Oh, we're looking at a commercial, I think.
Hey, what's up, my friend Calic and I here, and welcome to my
I love
home.
YouTube ads.
Now,
Matt,
as you continue
what's
to
your
pay
secret
attention
to
here over the
making
next
sure
few
that we
minutes,
don't see
I'm gonna
the
show you
ads,
some
Matt?
things that I think that you're going to
You're
find
gonna have to share it
pretty
with
cool.
Drew.
You see, the question that I get most often, right, is,
I already want to
how did
quit
you
my
do it?
job.
Right? How did I go from earning minimum wage, working in a coffee shop, living in my mom's spare bedroom, and over
Wait, it's not even an
$25,000 in debt,
Oh,
to
it's just
creating
the
a
wrong-
six,
wrong video.
multiple
Oh, it's just
six,
the wrong
and even
video.
seven-figure per year income,
Love it.
working online from home, while also having the time
That's why
and the
live
freedom
shows
to
are
travel
fun.
around the
Let's,
world, take
'cause you never know
multiple-
what you're gonna learn.
Pause it.
Yeah.
But
Come
effectively, I mean, effectively,
Yeah, I know. I never stopped talking. I talked over that guy because he wasn't. I don't want to live in his home. What was he trying to sell me? What was
to
the
quit
point
your
of-
job.
A new job.
How to make my money? All right.
But effectively, what you were addressing is
Here we
oh,
go.
do we have it now? Okay,
Here we
great.
go. Okay, here we go.
Was this?
Amateur video from many angles over the course of the day paints a picture of how events turned violent. Early Saturday morning, white supremacists gathered at McIntyre Park in Charlottesville. Around the same time, counter-protesters met at a church 2.5 miles away.
This was actually a different
Both
video.
groups marched toward Emancipation Park in downtown Charlottesville, the site of the
Oh, wow.
planned
This is
far-right
a
rally.
review of what happened. It's not the video about the.
Several men wearing National Guard-style military gear were present. The first outbreak of violence was reported at 10:30 a.m. More clashes happened before 11 a.m. The use of pepper spray was reported.
Yeah, this is just like a news.
A state of
Yeah, but
emergency
it's showing
was
some good
declared
cell
at
phone footage of
11:06
What,
a.m.
what it looked like on the ground.
Violence continued until 11:30 a.m. when officials declared unlawful assembly. Police started making arrests around 11:55 a.m. as they began clearing Emancipation Park. At 12:30 p.m., clashes were reported at nearby Justice Park. Counter-protesters marched down 4th Street. At 1:40 p.m., a car sped down 4th Street. Then it rushed in reverse.
Did you guys just see that? A car just plowed through hundreds of people downtown Charlottesville. Holy we need the ambulances.
James Alex Fields Jr. was arrested and charged with second-degree murder after authorities identified him as the driver of the car. Heather Hayer, a Charlottesville paralegal, died in the attack.
Scary when you see it. That's not the first time I've seen that video, but it's scary when you see it every time.
Yeah.
I think visuals are changing a lot of people's opinions. When you're able to see things, when you hear about them, it's very easy to just say that's an exaggeration, or just to hear the words and not imagine them so vividly, or even just, I don't have the most vivid imagination. If you tell me something, I kind of am just hearing what you're saying. But when I actually see a video of something like that, all of a sudden
If you picture your town, your peaceful little town, or your neighborhood, or the street that you live on, if you picture a bunch of guys just with assault rifles, whatever those rifles were called. I'm not good at guns, but like just all kind of armed and looking fierce, just marching down your streets. I mean, that's...
Well, part of the appeal of like games like Grand Theft Auto is like, haha, this would never happen, and then you see a video of it actually happening, like just driving your car all over the place, you know, like, and you're like, oh, okay, like this is crazy.
All right, here's the video I wanted to show you guys about social media's reaction to these guys showing their faces. We got sound?
Violence that erupted in Charlottesville on Saturday.
It's the same video.
Protesters also blamed the police for not keeping the peace.
What a concept.
I believe it's the same video.
How about
we just
Early
move
Saturday
on?
morning, white supremacists gathered at
I just love that concept from the from protesters just saying, "Hey, police, it's your fault. You didn't stop us from attacking each other." Like, no, come on, dude. Like,
All right, let's move on to addressing questions, and then we'll show this video when Matt gets it up. So Tara, would you read the first question?
why do people get back with their exes even after being dumped by them? Doesn't everyone deserve better than that? Well,
it's a self-confidence thing.
Yeah.
I mean, also like
Self-esteem.
the concept of like deserving better is a very optimistic point of view. I think that like, yeah, like everyone does deserve better, but like doesn't mean you're always going to get it. I'm not saying like your ex is the best you're ever going to do, but just this idea that like I deserve better. So like that's a hopeless romantic thought. It is. And like there's nothing wrong with that. But I think like people do it because it's right there in front of you. It's real as opposed to this idea that you could get something better that's not tangible.
It's like the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying this grass is good, but
right.
I
Exactly.
think maybe I want to say like this person, I want to say it's a girl, and they're asking after being dumped by them, saying like,
right, no, it's just people. She's hurt, she's angry, whatever it is. She's having trouble understanding how her friends or people she's seen have been able to convince themselves that it'd be a good idea to get back together. I think it usually doesn't happen after like a very difficult breakup. It might happen after, someone you casually dated or dated for a few months and said, this isn't working, and you went your separate ways, and then you ran into each other and one thing led to another and you're back together. Like it doesn't really happen after like someone does something terrible to you. Most people don't go back to that person after that.
It feels like
they do though.
Like they're watching a friend do it. It doesn't feel like they're asking for themselves. It feels like they're asking because they're watching their friend do it.
Well, yeah.
So it's probably if they did something really bad and then they went back to him, it's probably like a self-esteem issue, or they don't have a lot of self-confidence. They don't think that they deserve better, blah,
Or they
blah,
don't
blah,
think they
whatever.
can get better.
Or it's just like what Ryan said. They broke up and then a couple weeks later, after, summertime, they found each other again and decided maybe let's give it
But
a
you
shot.
do understand that love is an addiction, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to break free of that, especially if that's the only life you can picture. Like you can't picture the hard work of like getting over this person, and there they are again, right in your frame of view, and you're like, oh, I could do this, and that would be so much easier than crying and eating ice cream for a year.
Yeah.
So
that's why.
All right, so we're going to show that video.
Well, we're just all over the place.
Yeah, this is one of those shows where it's just gonna take you for a ride. We can probably talk during this because it's mostly just
I'm
reading.
kind of feeling this music.
Right?
One of them is from Nevada, and I'm very disappointed in him. Reno, Nevada, actually.
One of my favorite things is the guy who was pretty much like, I don't remember the exact quote was, but it was a photo of him, and it was like something to the extent of
You have to watch the screen while you're talking.
The restaurant says it does not support the actions of those in Charlottesville. Top Dog posted a sign with its views after a flurry of social media posts.
So what's a source for what you're saying about white people being murdered in South Africa? Like where?
A source?
Yeah.
Or on the internet.
On the internet.
Well, like that is a thing, but that doesn't matter in this context. What does that matter?
Oh.
So
I hope all these people get fired.
This guy.
This
He was the one who
is from Reno,
no,
Nevada.
He was my favorite because like the quote was something to the extent of like, that's not me. And I'm like, that's
He's
a
on
photo
there.
of you.
European culture has the right to be here just like every other culture.
Well, see, now, Ryan, I missed it.
You have eyes, can't you read?
No, he was talking on the phone.
Anyway, his whole thing of like, that's not me. I'm like, then who is it? Because it's a photo of you.
All right, everybody, we are here
in Charlottesville, Virginia, making our move on the Lee Park. We're moving to Lee Park right now. Just got dropped off at our landing zone. We do have a security detail.
Go away, dude.
All right, interesting. So Twitter was able to capture the images of like a ton of people who just think that they can go do hateful things in plain view with tiki torches lighting up their faces. And do you guys think it's because they feel that since our president has these thoughts and this heart, it's okay to publicly, it's now, has he said, hey, yeah, you guys are free and clear to be hateful in public because that's the new national policy?
He hasn't like directly said that, but I think his actions probably make these people, they're seeing these actions and they're melding it into this thing where they're thinking, yeah, this is okay.
I think that's part of it, but also like Wheezy, before the show, we had discussed this idea that, you were saying now that it's being almost accepted by the president, this notion like that the mask comes off, the hood comes off, it's like kind of is in play. And while to some degree I think it is, there's also a level that like the KKK is a specific organization that wears those masks, and like not all of these people are a part of that. And so I actually think these people are just proud of like what they have to say, and as messed up as that is, and like I think they have no shame in it, and I think that they don't want to suffer the consequences of being who they are and believing what they believe. So,
but if you want to just say that it was just a march for white rights or whatever, like I marched on Washington the day after Trump was inaugurated, and we didn't have guns. There were a lot of people there, and we had signs, but no one thought like that we needed, reinforcements or armed.
Well, I mean, they ended up almost being right. I mean, this has gotten out of hand. Not that they.
It got out of hand because they were the ones that were aggressive.
Absolutely, but the point I'm making is like this is an aggressive situation. Like
that's not what a march looks like. So you can't just say, well, that was just a march.
You can't say that though, because these people are obviously not in their right mind. These people like believe what they believe, but they know that they're in the minority, and they know that there's gonna be people that are gonna be like, dude, really? Why are you still racist? So those racist people are gonna bring guns because they know that what they're saying is not the majority of.
They know they're going into a dangerous situation, but they're ignorant enough to think that they're right.
I don't know. I just think that anybody who really wants to just sort of fight for white rights, like you don't have rights, like I think that's like a death rattle of white supremacists, because this country is like changing colors, and everyone accepts that. Like immigrants are all from all over the world, are all different colors, and people have always migrated. Humans have always migrated around the world and always gone looking for a better life or a better future for their children. And it's like, it's not something to be afraid of. It's just something to embrace. You get to meet new people. And so I just think that was a tipping point. I'm hopeful that was a tipping point, and that the country looked at that, just like when you saw fire hoses during the civil rights movement, when that was filmed and on television, that's when everybody went, oh yeah, no, that's not okay. Like, I think we all got a good look at who those people are, especially since they weren't wearing masks. And we were just like, yeah, no, not on our watch, not in America. And I think that's the intention of that hashtag. This is not, I don't think it was like denial. I just think the intention of that hashtag was like, I'm raising my hand and just saying, look, I'm for the future. I'm for humanity. I'm for everybody. I'm an American, and that's not who I want to be as an American. That's not the voice of me, and that's not the voice of anyone in my group of friends. So
I think everybody can agree with that for sure.
Yeah. All right. So what other questions can we help people with? Jabbar, next one.
My younger sister is 15, and she is very mean to me. Lately, when she says mean things to me, I've been telling her that it hurts my feelings. But instead of apologizing, she tells me that I'm too sensitive. Should I just try to grow thicker skin and ignore her hurtful comments, or should I stand up for myself every time, even though it accomplishes nothing?
Both.
Yeah, a little bit of both for sure. I mean, she's 15, so she's an idiot right now.
Well, it's really important that you build a thick skin. Like, that's going to come in handy no matter what you do in your life. There are going to be people who are going to say things that are going to bother you. The thicker your skin, the better suited you'll be to handle that. On top of that, you should also tell your sister you don't like it. Now, granted, if she's saying mean things, her goal probably is to hurt your feelings. So if you tell her
Get a rise out of
that she's hurting your feelings, she's probably like getting the confirmation she's seeking and the reaction she wants. I'd have to think a little bit longer to figure out exactly what would be the proper response, but I would definitely say that there is a proper response you can find, and I don't know, while other people answer it, I'll give it some more thought to see if I can find anything.
I wonder how old this person is. Like,
Yeah,
how much
is it
older?
younger or
Probably like
older?
17 would be my guess.
Oh, younger.
Shoot, you stop taking them places. I know she asked you to drive her places. Stop doing
Yeah, she's
things,
your-
the basic things for her. She will realize, oh shit.
She's your little sister.
Yeah, that's
Show
the
her
proper
who's
response.
boss.
That's what
honestly.
it is. That's what it is.
Like, beat her down to a pulp.
Well, okay, don't do
With
that.
your
Physically,
words.
huh?
With
No,
your
don't,
words.
no, also not with your words.
Yes, with your words. You guys are both teenagers. You're both young, and it's just your siblings. So you know what? Be like, hey, girl, stop it. And then just
That's not-
yell and be.
No, don't yell.
Yes.
Okay.
And then your mom's gonna get into it. Your mom's gonna get into it, and she's gonna be like, Marissa, go to your room. You don't get to. And let me give him your iPhone. And you're gonna be like, yeah, that's right.
No, that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
The first part's going to happen. You'll be like, okay, damn, now I lost my iPhone. My sister is still mean to me. My mom's mad at me, and this
No,
sucks.
I saying
Okay,
your mom
so-
is gonna see that your 15-year-old daughter, her 15-year-old daughter, is being mean, and that you're finally had enough of it.
No, for 1 second, be real. Of course,
I am being real.
That's really.
This is your okay. I wouldn't say do this to a person outside of your family, but this is your family member, and if she's younger than you,
That's
and
the
she's hurting
biggest
your
problem with
feelings-
families is people feel like they can do those things because they're in the same family. You should absolutely maybe talk to your mom about it, and you should definitely stop taking your sister places and stop giving her the privileges that come with being your sister. My brother has done that to me a million times. If I'm mean to him, he doesn't do anything mean back to me. It's just when I want stuff from him, he's like, "Oh, you want something from me? That's right. Okay, I remember what you said earlier, though." So, you do not yell at her. That's not we do not we do not condone
It's
that
your
type of
sibling.
action on
It's
this
your
show.
sibling.
That's the problem. That is all that sibling conflict is caused by the mindset that you can do it because it's your sibling. Whatever. They're also a person. You also have a family that's
Yeah, but
trying
if
to
she's
function.
being mean to him, then make her feel bad, and so she'll stop doing it.
Didn't we just address almost peaceful? Didn't we just talk about Charlottesville and
I still think
not
it's
addressing
your
hate
sibling.
with hate?
I still think a family setting is a little bit different than
It is
the
because you
outside
look at it
world.
like that, and that's the most toxic family mindset you can have.
No, it's not.
It is.
Okay,
No,
I
me
would-
and my sister have a great relationship.
It'd be better if you didn't yell at each other.
All right,
You can't argue that.
Maybe because I'm more saner than other people, and I know how
Saner.
Montana?
More sane.
More sane.
Not more Grammarly.
Montana, go sit between the two boys here. This is Montana, everybody. And if you go into our backlogs, you can find episodes that include her.
No, didn't we get?
Because
Sadly.
take all
now
the
that she's been to
episodes
college,
down?
she's older and wiser.
Yeah, I dropped out of college, but
Talk right into the mic.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna preface this by saying probably take my advice with a grain of salt because I don't have siblings, but I used to fight with my parents a lot, and I think the most effective thing to if she's being actively aggressive, call her out why are you being so aggressive? There's no need for you to be doing this because nobody wants to be called out on the things that they're doing, and you're not yelling at her, you're not saying oh, I hate you, you did this and blah blah blah. Just ask her why are you being so aggressive? Why are you acting like this? It's not called for, and nobody. Yeah. Okay. Are we? Am I too close? Am I too close?
No, I was just thinking. I had a thought. I was going to say it.
Okay.
Ryan has thoughts sometimes.
Sometimes.
At least twice a day.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be told that they're being the uncool one, being the one who's causing the problem, and she might take a step back and look at herself because also if you call her out on being aggressive, she can't then be like, I'm not being aggressive, because then that kind of just proves your point in a very sitcom-y
Okay, I like
way.
that.
All right. So here's what I want to say before we go to Ryan.
All right.
And this is just this is the adult psychological sort of perspective that I just want to throw at you guys and let you respond to it. I believe that all sibling rivalry is rooted in competition for love and approval from the parents. So if a younger sibling will get into this pattern of maybe when you were 2 and 4, she was trying to get positive attention and it just was a no-go. So all she ever really learned and it's now become ingrained, is how to get negative attention, how to get a rise out of you somehow. And you could be the older sibling where the parents are just like, can you believe Jessica? Isn't Jessica the best? Isn't Jessica the cutest? Like, all she ever heard in her early formative baby years was how great you are. And so this is what she just learned how to do to get any kind of rise out of anybody. And so I would say switch it up and just be super nice to her, just compliment her and say, that was really funny, or you're really good at music, or, your eyelashes are so long, or just something. At first she's going to look at you and make a face, but then eventually she'll start treating you the way you are treating her.
Yeah, just do the golden rule.
Golden rule.
Say, and then
Buddy?
Well, I was going to say, like, I am the younger sibling, and so when I was 15, my brother was 17, and we're assuming you're 17. Generally, and still today, when I'm like mean to my brother, I'm trying to prove a point. There's usually an underlying issue there. Like what Weezy you addressed is probably like the most central, like core, like developmental problem. But I think like on a more day-to-day level, there's usually something that's bothering me, and I feel like, at least without thinking super clearly about it, I feel like I can prove a point if I'm consistent, and if I get in every little low blow wherever I can, and hit my brother where it hurts the most, then maybe he'll finally get the point.
You're like a street fighter, man.
So I was just gonna say, like, try and see. I'm personally, when I do that, obviously I think I'm right and I think my brother's wrong. It may be possible that you're also doing something to antagonize her and to bother her. Generally, things aren't entirely one-sided. So just try and be a little more aware and understanding of how she might be feeling on the other side. That'll also teach you a lot about how to respond to it.
So one of the things I remember most about being the younger sibling is that this is how my sister would get me. I would be like mean to her or something, and then she would be like, one time she was filing her nails, and my parents, she was filing her nails, and she was like looking at me, and she was like doing all this, and I was like, Mom, see, she's filing her nails, like she's all that, and I was like bawling my eyes out, and my mom was like looking at me and like looking at my sister, and my sister's like, I'm not doing anything, and I was like, see, like, and it got to me so bad that I really, like, for a good month, like, just didn't try to do anything to get my sister in trouble, because she like made me look like such an idiot.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
Could you imagine if your kid goes up to you, she's filing her nails like she's all that, and I was crying.
If you actually said those words,
but she was.
You are my new favorite person.
She was, and she won't say it, but she like, but when my mom wasn't looking, she was like,
that's hilarious. All right, Josh, would you read the next question, please?
Yeah.
Or read, because we're running out of time, read any question that sings to you.
Oh, great. No,
yeah.
I'm just going to start with I'm a 15-year-old girl. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I'm a 15-year-old girl, and I'm very insecure about my body. I'm very curvy. All my family members are skinny and have nice bodies, so I compare myself to them. All my friends are skinny as well. I just see myself as a fat friend. I eat healthy and exercise. I really need some advice.
Skinny doesn't equal nice body. That's for one.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And like sometimes it's just genetics too. I mean, you can eat super healthy and exercise all you want, and it's like sometimes you would have to like go to an extreme or like get a nutritionist to really get to where you want to go, just because your genetics are a certain way. But I agree. Like, I think curvy's in.
I think you have to not look at other people, because I know, like, I am a skinny girl, but was I insecure about my body growing up as well? Yeah, even though people say you don't need to be, like, we're all insecure, but we have to find a way to think positive about ourselves and not look and say like, well, I want to be like that girl. Like, no, you have to just like grow into loving you. And I know that's going to take time, but like, you don't need advice on, being insecure. Like, just grow into it. Start loving yourself more.
Yeah, I think I agree with Tara. I think that definitely like love yourself and love your body. And some people are just predisposed to not be able to be a certain weight, or they are a certain weight. And I think that also, like in your question, you said I eat healthy and I exercise. Maybe look at how to improve your diet or improve your exercising, because maybe it's not working currently what you are doing. I know for me, I was eating healthy, but I wasn't exercising. But the combination of the two has allowed me to start gaining weight. And like my friends who have lost weight in the past. Like they were exercising, but then they were still going home and eating potato chips.
Mhm.
So it was like very much there's a balance of like looking at what you're doing, and I'm not sure exactly what you're doing healthy wise and eating and exercise, but maybe also look at that and see if there's anything that you can tweak or change to make you reach your goal. Not to make wrong that you're at the weight you're at, but also just to better yourself.
I think also there's like a common misconception that eating healthy equals losing weight.
Yeah.
There's like a few
Can't
different.
be eating salads every day.
Well, it's not just that. Like, and again, bottom line, love your body, and be comfortable with who you are. But if you have a goal and you're doing it for yourself, then it's okay to look at how the best way to accomplish that is. And you know, as far it's like one good way to look at it is almost like fuel for your car. There's the amount of fuel you put in, and there's the efficiency of the fuel you put in. So when you put in something like salad, greens, vegetables, things that are natural, you're talking about stuff that's good for you. It's going to improve your mindset. It's going to make you think clearly. It's not going to lug you down mentally. But that doesn't equal losing weight. If you eat pounds of salad every day, you can gain weight.
Because it's just one part of life, and if you work on those areas so that you're not so hyper focused. Friend, you're not the fat friend. You're their friend because they value. Subscribe button. You can also hit the thumbs up button. 7171, and you can talk to any of. Hear from you. Josh, did you have one more?
Work for everybody, so there isn't like a standard. Just eat healthy and exercise. My life, like running is the worst thing to do. Water weight, and what I'm looking to do is gain mass. Whenever you are looking, go ahead and do that, but work a little bit more on your thoughts first.
One
thing that's going to make you go crazy, honestly.
Also, just to add on to what Josh was saying, be aware of the different types of exercises you're doing. And we don't have time for me to address all of it, but go and look up the difference between aerobic and anaerobic exercises. Consider the difference between high and low intensity cardio. All those different things are going to get you to different places. Not all exercises created equal.
And one good thing that I would like to say that I think is a good idea is like a fitness tracker, because it just like you don't wonder whether or not you're going to brush your teeth. You just brush your teeth every day. It's like just something that you do every day. You take a shower. You don't go, should I? You just do it. So if you have a fitness tracker and you say, oh, I'm not going to do this five times a week or 3 times a week. I'm going to finish these rings, or I'm going to meet this goal every day, no matter what, unless you're on a plane all day. That's like the only time I give myself an exception is if you're on a plane all day. Because Josh, I remember you got like a fitness tracker and you were like, yeah, like I've walked, walked 300 steps, and it was like,
I was like, oh.
Because you're skinny, like you're thin, so you weren't thinking, oh, I should move more.
Yeah.
And that was an awareness that like I really only walk from the couch to the kitchen. And so maybe that's something I need to look into. The whole outdoors away too. Is there a question that's singing to anybody? Yes, KatieMichal.
I have one. There's a guy at school who legit can fight like hell.
Oh, I love this. This is our friend.
I do love
His
this.
sister was being nosy in me and my friend's conversation, so I was joking around and said Albert Einstein. I don't understand that, but
he was being a smartass. That's just all you need to know. Yeah.
Then she got mad and called me an asshole. I replied, #comedy, #humor, #triggered. Now her brother wants to fight me. What do I do?
You're not going to fight.
No.
Cut to.
Wait.
You, me,
Seriously.
flagpole, 3 o'clock.
Dude, so like, I wouldn't, don't fight. You don't be the instigator, right? But if this guy does actually come up to you, like, kind of be prepared.
Your ass kicked.
No. Be prepared to like defend yourself, like, or run away, whatever you want to do. But like, don't think that he's just not going to fight you. But here's seriously what you do. You tell your parents. You say, hey, I kind of did this thing that pissed off a girl, and I think his brother wants to fight me. And then you can go up to the principal or your teacher or whatever and show them whatever and say, I did something that pissed somebody off. They want to fight me. Can you not don't let them know that I told you, but kind of just be aware that that might happen. And then the teachers will watch that person for you and be a little bit of a bodyguard. I literally went through this. Now, my dad was like, don't instigate anything, but if anything happens, best defend yourself. You know what I mean? So, like, be ready. If he comes up to you, be ready to, like, don't let yourself get beat up. Either run away or, like, fight back. You know what I mean? But seriously, tell your teachers and your parents, because those are the only people that can help you. Don't be afraid to, like, be a snitch. Just tell them to not tell everybody that you were the snitch.
Well, also, I mean, also, like, be careful. Like, I have a friend who's, like, built, took Krav Maga, good shape, and he just pretty much got, like, jumped at a party because there were people at his house who weren't supposed to be there. He told them to leave, and he was in the ER. Like, you need to be careful with people who can actually fight.
Wow.
Like, they can mess you up, and
That's
it
why I
wasn't.
said run.
It was exactly. Like, I'm not trying to scare you, but you have to be real with yourself. Like, if you think that someone could hurt you, you have to do whatever you can to protect yourself. Talk to the principal. Make sure that you don't get in the situation, because if you get in that situation, you don't want to be in that situation.
Like, there are some people out there that be like, I'm gonna fight you, and you're like, you're not gonna fight me.
And then don't worry. If you think that they're whatever, if they're just
Right.
bluffing, like, call their bluff. But if it's someone who you think is actually going to hurt you,
You definitely need to take the
don't take it.
precautions.
Yeah, don't take it
Because
lightly.
if they fight you, like, maybe you might get jumped. All their friend groups are gonna fight you, or it might go, like, further than that, and they might bully you in a way that becomes harmful. Like, they might not physically hurt you, but bully you to where you get harmed or something. So you got to take it seriously for sure.
What you got, Montana?
Man.
There's actually a guy. Hi. Is there a way?
Try and move it at all. Just deals with it.
Just like stranglehold.
Watch this.
Oh, should I take it out?
Nope.
Oh.
There you
Perfect. Perfect. God, what was
What were you gonna say?
Oh, okay. First point I want to address are kids saying hashtag and then they using the hashtag in the real life?
No, I think
now?
he just said it because he's smart and funny. He just said it.
is this a guy?
He said, I replied, hashtag comedy, like, in other words, when he said the Einstein thing, it was a joke and nobody was supposed to get all excited. And so he said hashtag comedy, hashtag humor, hashtag triggered.
Like, I say hashtag as a verb, an adjective, and noun all the time.
Yeah, like he was just
I'm
saying
very proud
it.
of it. So I think this guy is saying, like, hashtag, being very, very, very
Someone was being nosy. And
snarky
then,
about it.
All right, Albert Einstein.
Yeah, right.
She got
Like
mad.
sarcasm.
Hashtag, probably done a
Like,
little bit of that.
usually when someone says Albert Einstein, it is sarcasm. Like, do you think you're a genius? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Second point I was going to make. I agree with Ryan because I think that, like, well, I mean, I thought this was a girl at first, so I was going to be like, yeah, he's not going to jump you. Like, who's going to...
No, it's a guy.
Okay, so...
We know him.
Quite possibly.
He's called the show.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, I would say just do whatever you can to make sure that you're okay. Like, if you think that you can't win a fight with this guy and he's going to fight you, either learn how to take one really good punch and then stay down. No, it's a good...
Montana's fighting tips.
Do not do that.
Play dead.
You run. If you don't think you
People
can...
do not stop just because you hit the ground.
Yeah, if you don't think that you can actually defend yourself, run.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Make sure that you're
No, you
good.
didn't.
If
You said take a punch and play dead.
No, he's not gonna. Over something this little, I don't think he's gonna, like, kill you. That being said,
He'll be there. He'll be there, like, nursing his knuckles while you kind of crawl away.
No, because in the end, make sure you do whatever you need to do. Like, get out of the fight somehow. People are gonna call you like, "Oh, I can't believe he." How do you say that without using the word, like, bitched out?
Wussed out or something like that?
Yeah, like wussed out.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it like you already said it.
Well, okay.
How do you say bitched out without
saying bitch?
Just
So
find a way to get out of
everybody
it,
for
basically.
a while is gonna be like, "Oh, he bitched out of the fight," but, like, you would not even hear that if you're dead. So, like, weigh
Montana
weigh
wisdom.
your fights.
All right, I have a question for you guys. All right, so because as a female, I never felt challenged to a fight ever in my whole childhood, right? So
let me tell you.
All right,
I was really sarcastic.
or I
with
hung
people.
out. Yeah, because you yelled at your sister, and that caused a lot. That got.
No, I'm saying, like,
Can I
in
just-
school.
Wait, no. Before I throw it to you, Tara, and you're next.
Sorry.
What would happen if he said, "Listen, I know I can be a wise guy, and I apologize for that, but I don't want to fight you."
You know what? That might.
He probably wouldn't fight him.
That might actually work.
Tara
Try
is
it. You know what? Actually, go on social media and say I'm sorry. That could totally work.
Or say it in person. Like you're not gonna be walking through the school halls. He's not gonna sucker punch.
Because
you.
it's like the
You can approach-
one-on-one
Okay, so-
version of diplomacy.
Go up to the sister first and say, "I'm really sorry," and then
Hold
go
up.
up to
Okay,
him.
so
hold up.
Tara's
Tara
next.
really wants something to
Next
say.
being Wheezy asked this
Sarah?
question to the panel, and she's next.
No, I'm fine because
Yeah.
like when I wanted to chime in, it was about like what we were exactly talking about, and then when the
Go, keep going.
no, well, when the discussion changes, like I can't. I was just gonna say that in high school there were people that wanted to fight me. There were threats like written on shit, and like people knew about it. And then finally, the girl actually came up in the gym before class, slapped me, got suspended. No one tried to mess with me again because she got suspended. All the teachers saw. Yeah, she just
Ooh, that
bitch slapped
happened?
me. Yeah,
Wow.
and it was literally like I guess I accidentally like ran into her in the halls and I forgot to say excuse me or something. Well, I know I said excuse me because I don't like not say that if I like
Right.
accidentally hit someone. It's just a reflex, and so that's the whole entire reason why her and her whole little posse wanted to get at me. And I was like, all right, fine. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna slap me? Slap me. She slapped me. She got
See,
suspended.
that bothers me so
Wow.
much. Not that
So
she got
true.
suspended, like good that she did. But okay, I'm sorry, this story just has to. When I talk a lot, no surprise there, right? And I was in Spanish class in my junior year, and this girl who wasn't very fond of me was like, "Ryan, stop talking." Our teacher had left the room. We were doing like independent work. She's like, "Ryan, stop talking." I was like, "I'm not even talking to you. Like, I'm across the room. I'm not being that loud." She's like, "If you keep talking, I'm gonna go over there and slap you." I was like, whatever. So I kept talking. She came over, like just stood in front of me, and I looked up, and as hard as she could, she just like backhanded me across the face, right? Hard as she could. And I just sat there, and I was just like, I just was kind of stunned, right? My teacher comes back. I told her my teacher laughed. That's it. Because it was a girl slapping a guy, she just laughed. If I had stood up and slapped her back, I would have been expelled.
Well, I didn't slap back, and because I didn't slap back, I didn't get expelled.
Well, neither did I. And,
No,
but she
but
didn't even. But the
she
teacher
should've
laughed
gotten-
at it.
Well,
She should
then
have
that's
gotten-
when something should have been done because that is
The
sexist.
thing is
Yeah,
that
it
if the person that starts the fight, well, in my school, the person that starts the fight always was the one that get in trouble anyway. So as long as you don't instigate anything, y'all gonna be fine.
Should have gotten out the brass knuckles.
There's
Jabbar.
retaliation.
Jabbar.
You guys would never believe this, but
Okay.
I've been in a lot of fights in my life. Yes, I have.
No.
Have you won?
Always.
Never.
Always. The first fight, not the first fight, but one of
Take
my
it off the
oldest fights. I didn't fight since I was like in 8th grade, but still, that was a time when I knew how to fight, but I never really, really fought someone like that. But I have an older brother who just always fought me, and I used to get beat up, but I learned how to fight from that. So at this point, not everyone, but some people targeted me because I don't know, various reasons. But
Too cool.
I realized the guy who I thought could fight the best in the school wanted to fight me. You know, I avoided him as much as possible because I was scared as hell. But he finally found me after school, and I found out that he was actually not the best fighter in school. I was.
Wow.
Put on a face.
And maybe that's a realization. If that did happen, you realize you know how to fight. And
I think we got like way off track, but not that.
Yeah,
not
like-
taking it
You
away
fought
from
him?
but-
You fought him?
Fight a
Yes, I
stapler,
did.
so.
So
I did.
what happened? Like how many
It's all
blows were
talk.
exchanged? Did he go down? Like play by play.
I played football all my life.
Right.
So I knew how to take him down the right way and then start beating his ass.
Mhm.
That's how it was. He didn't do anything. He was just a street fighter. And street fighters know how to fight, but they don't know how to technically fight.
Mhm.
You know, if that makes sense.
Well, they know how to
Yes,
fight
it
other
does.
street fighters. Like if you're both just swinging, like someone's gonna get hit,
Well, this
and like
guy
whoever
might
can take
just-
the most punches is gonna
I
win.
think
But if
his
you're actually
point
like being
is-
technical about it, you're trying to take him down. Like there's no.
I think his point is that like this guy could be a total phony.
But back to my question.
Don't
Can
play that
you
card, though.
use diplomacy to avoid a fight?
Yes.
I think you should try. Yeah, for sure.
Can't hurt.
But I also take to that. Sorry to stay on this question for so long. But I did try to do that with my dad before. And my dad was like, all right, we going to school the next day, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I was like, do I want all of that attention at
dad?
school?
Really?
Yeah, he was like ready to go down to school, not fight the kid, but
Uh-huh.
like go to the principals, go to teachers.
Okay,
and
got
see
it,
this. And I was
got
like,
it,
do I
yeah.
want that to be my name? My
Yeah.
dad had to come to school,
Right. Don't
have
So
your
maybe
dad
you
do
would
it.
have anyone. Like, do you want that name to be
No, I-
like he came, your dad, mom,
I think-
aunt came to school and defended you?
I think
I'm not
Weezy's
saying
literally
that.
saying go up to the kid himself and just say,
Yeah.
"Listen, I'm sorry. I don't want any trouble." Like that.
That's what I mean by diplomacy, Jabbar. I don't mean your dad or any
No.
parental figures. I mean you walking up to the kid and say, "Look, I know we've got beef, but can we just? I apologize if I offended you.
And
I
hopefully he's a
don't
better
want to
person
fight you."
To
you
be
know,
like,
just
yeah,
simply
you know
say, I don't want to fight you.
Hopefully he will do it. Like, hopefully you can try. It will work. But, like, odds are maybe it won't. And they're going to still just be ignorant and say, no, I still want to fight you, because that's what happens when you're teenagers and kids. So, yeah.
You can say, like, I'm not going to fight you, but there will be sanctions. I'm sorry. All right. You will not be getting my lunch money. I'm sorry. Ryan has a call. So are we out of time? I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank everybody in the booth, Matt, Thomas, Drew, Montana for jumping onto the couch, and all of the panel. Please subscribe to our wonderful program, and we will see you next week. Good night, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Meow, 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 meow.